Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are fit and fine and giving your full efforts for November 20 exams. Never will let negative thoughts and negative people ruin your mind and ultimately your studies. Control your mind, control your thoughts because you only can do so. Push yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. And always strive to improve yourself. Always train your mind to think positive. Remember this. Okay? So in my last video, we had completed revision cum questionnaire of registration. If you've not yet seen that video, then please do visit the link given in the description box. Today we'll revise value of supply. First we'll do the revision and then we'll move towards the question answers. Means illustrations and exercises. So let's revise this chapter. Hope you have done this chapter before. Okay. So let's do the quick revision of this chapter, value of supply. Now as we all know that first when we have to determine the value of supply, then first we have to apply section 15 subsection 1, that is TV, transaction value. We can take transaction value. Transaction value means the price actually paid or payable for the goods or services. Okay, so we can take TV only when the two conditions are satisfied, that is when buyer and seller are not related and when price is the sole consideration. If these two conditions are not met, then we have to apply rules. Okay, now see what is given here. Value of supply made to unrelated person where price is the sole consideration. Unrelated person means they are not related, condition is satisfied, and second condition is that the price is the sole consideration, that is also satisfied. Means when these two things are there, unrelated supplies to unrelated person and price is the sole consideration, then value of supply will be transaction value under section 15 subsection 1. Okay, then next what is given, supply is made to related person, then obviously we have to apply rule related person. Then when, we can't apply section 15 subsection 1, we have to apply rule for related person. When supply second case is given here, supply where price is not the sole consideration, rule 27. In case of related person we have to apply rule 28. And third case is supply is a notified supply under section 15 subsection 5, then also we can't apply that section. In these three cases, when supply is made to related person, price is not the sole consideration. In case of notified supply, we have to apply rules. See what is written here, value to be determined under chapter 4, determination of value of supply of CGST rules. Okay, means when conditions are not satisfied, then we have to apply rules. Now inclusions and value under section 15 subsection 2. Now we have when we take transaction value under section 15(1), we have to certain exclusions and inclusions are there in that value. So inclusions are given in subsection, and it means in section 15 subsection 2. Let's look towards the inclusions. First is taxes under taxes other than GST. We have to take all taxes other than GST, means other than CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST, these all we have to take all other taxes, means we have to add those taxes in the TV. Next is third party payment made by recipient in relation to supply which supplier was liable to pay and were not included in the price, means the recipient has paid the payment on behalf of supplier and it was not included in the price, then it will be added in the value. Next is incidental expenses, including anything done by the supplier in respect of supply till delivery of goods or supply of services if charged to recipient, means any incidental expenses which the supplier incurs before delivery or before supply of services, then that will be charged in the value, means that will be added to the value. If that expense is charged to recipient, then that value will be added in the TV. Now subsidies directly linked to the price of supply other than the ones given by the central government or state government. So subsidies that are directly linked to the price, that will be added in the value, means that will be added in TV. The subsidy which are given by the central government or state government, that will not be added in the value. Okay, that will be deducted from the value, means we will not add it. If it's included, then we'll deduct it. If it's not included, then we'll not do any treatment. Other than subsidy means other than government subsidy is there, means subsidy from non-government, then we'll add that. Then interest, late fee, penalty for delay in payment of consideration. These all charges are there, late charges or interest, penalty for delay in payment, then that will also be added in the TV. Next is these are all the were the inclusions. Now see towards the exclusions. Exclusions from value under section 15(2). First is discount given before or at the time of supply and recorded in the invoice. Now the discount which is given before or at the time of supply and the discount is recorded in invoice, that discount will only be deducted from the TV. Next is given post supply discount or incentive if known in advance and linked with invoice and proportionate ITC reversed by recipient. Now if discount is given post supply, means once supply is made to the recipient, after that discount is given, but the discount was linked with invoice, means that agreement was made before or at the time of supply and proportionate ITC was reversed by the recipient, then only this discount will be excluded. Suppose if any discount was given post supply and that was not known before, means agreement was not made before or at the time of supply, then that discount will not be considered, means that discount will not be we can't deduct that discount from value. Okay, so this completes our TV section 15(1), 15(2). Now we'll move towards the valuation rules. When the conditions are not met, means when it's not possible to apply section 15 subsection 1 transaction value, then we'll move towards the valuation rules. Now rule 27, consideration not wholly in money. When the consideration is not wholly in money, means monetary plus non-monetary consideration both are involved, then we have to apply rule 27. Okay, now what is given here, value shall be either of the following in the given order. We have to move in the sequence in this order only. First is open market value, means first we have to take the open market value of that supply if it's available. If it's not available, then we'll move towards the second option, that is total of consideration in money plus amount equal to the consideration not in money, means monetary plus non-monetary consideration. Like suppose you went to the market, you went to one shop to purchase a refrigerator in exchange of your old refrigerator, and suppose your old refrigerator would fetch 10,000 and the cost of new one is 50,000. So in cash, in monetary consideration in this case is 40,000. Suppose in cash you paid 40,000 to the shopkeeper and you gave your old refrigerator. So in this case, total of consideration in money is 40,000 and an amount equal to consideration not in money, that is 10,000, cost of the price that your old refrigerator fetched, that is 10,000. So 40 plus 10,000, that is 50,000, that will be the value as per rule 27. Okay, now if it's not possible to determine the value of non-monetary consideration, then we can't apply this option, then we have to move towards the third option, that is value of supply of like kind and quality. If that is also not possible, then fourth option is consideration in money plus money value of non-monetary consideration computed as per rule 30 or 31. Then we have to apply rule 30 or rule 31. Rule 30 is that we have to take 110% of cost of production, and rule 31 is we have to apply best judgment assessment. Okay, again I'm revising rule 27, open market value, total of consideration money plus non-monetary consideration. Then third one is value of supply of like kind and quality. Then rule 30 or 31, means we have to apply in sequence. Rule 30, if we can't apply rule 30, then we have to move towards rule 31. Straight away we can't move towards rule 31. So four options are there. Rule 30 or 31 I'm counting in one option only. So altogether four options are there in rule 27. Now rule 28, supply between distinct or related persons other than agent. Other than agent, because for agent exclusive one exclusive rule is there, so agent is not covered in under rule 28. So when supply is made to supply is between distinct or related person, then rule 28 is applied. Then this case we have to take first option is open market value. If that is not available, then value of supply of like kind and quality. Then we'll apply rule 30 or 31. Just compare this with rule 27. Just second option is not there, open market value is there, like kind and quality is there, rule 30 or 31 is there. These three are same. according to rule 27, if we don't see the second option of rule 27. Okay, there's 3 options are there. Then if not it's completed till here, rule 30 or 31. Then after that it's given option to supplier to value goods sold as such by recipient, then will take value equal to 90% of the price charged by recipient to its unrelated customer. These two are the exclusive points. If this is possible, these two things are means last two bullets are possible, then will not think about the means will not go as per the order given. I am talking about rule 28. So last second bullet is saying that if the if the recipient supply the goods as such, means goods are not altered. Okay, goods are supplied as such by the recipient, means further supply. Case of further supply, goods are supplied as such by the recipient to unrelated person, then the supplier can take 90% of the price charged by the recipient to its unrelated customer. If goods are not further supplied, suppose it's consumed or it's sold to related customer, then we can't apply this option. Last option given over here is recipient eligible for ITC. If recipient is eligible for ITC, then invoice value will be the open market value. Okay, then invoice value will become the value as per rule 28 in this case. That will become the taxable value. Okay, if these two exclusive cases are there, then will not apply this three in sequence. Now next one is rule 29, supply made or received through an agent. Okay, in this case value shall be either of the following in the given order. Will take open market value or 90% of the price charged by recipient to his unrelated customer for supplies of like kind and quality. Just compare this 90% thing with rule 28. You will find one difference. In rule 28 it was given supplied as such, and in this case it's in rule 29 it's given supply of like kind and quality. Means this the supply by recipient to unrelated customer for supplies of like kind and quality. If that supply is there, supply of like kind and quality is there by recipient to unrelated customer, supplier will take 90% of that price charged by recipient. Okay, just one difference is there. 90% of the price charged by recipient to its unrelated customer, and supply was as such in rule 28. In rule 29 it's supply of like kind and quality. Okay, if this exclusive case is there, supply of like kind and quality to unrelated customer, then obviously we'll take 90%, otherwise we'll take open market value. If both things are not possible, then we'll apply rule 30 or rule 31 in that order. Means first we'll apply rule 30, if that is not possible, then rule 31. So rule 27, rule 28, rule 29, this we are done. Okay, now next one is rule 30, value based on cost. See this if you all want to see once, rule 27, 28, 29. Okay, now rule 30, value based on cost. Value shall be 110% of cost of production or acquisition or provision of goods or services. Okay, we'll take 110% of the cost. This is value based on cost. Now rule 31. Rule 31 is residual method, that is best judgment method. In this case, value shall be determined using reasonable means consistent with the principles and general provisions of section 15 and valuation rules. For services, rule 31 can be adopted before rule 30. Okay, for services there is exemption, means there is one relaxation for services. In that case there is no use to follow the sequence, they can straight away jump to rule 31. Now rule 31A, value of supply of lottery, chance to win in betting, gambling, horse racing and race club. Now it's given here lottery run by state government. If the lottery is run by state government, then value will be 100 by 112 of the face value of ticket or 100 by 112 of the price as notified in the official gazette by the organizing state, whichever is higher. So it's clear, we'll take the higher of both. Okay, face value of ticket or price as notified in the official gazette, 100 by 112. Now lottery authorized by state government will take 100 by 128 of the face value of ticket or 100 by 128 of the price as notified in the official gazette by organizing state, whichever is higher. In this case, rate is 28% and in the earlier one run by state government it's 12%. Do you know what is the main difference between lottery run by state government and lottery authorized by state government? Lottery run by state government means lottery not allowed to be sold to any state other than the organizing state. I'm repeating again, means lottery not allowed to be sold in any state other than the organizing state. And lottery authorized by state government means lottery which is authorized to be sold in state or states other than the organizing state also. It's lottery which is authorized to be sold in state or states other than the organizing state. So this is the main difference between lottery run by state government and lottery authorized by state government. Now next one is actionable claim in form of chance to win in betting, gambling or horse racing in a race club. In this case, value will be 100% of the face value of the bet or the amount paid into the totalisator. Lottery run by state, this is okay, this is completed. Now lottery run by state government is lottery not allowed to be, they have defined this, lottery not allowed to be sold in any state other than organizing state, and lottery authorized by state government is lottery authorized to be sold in state or states other than the organizing state. Just now what I said. So this one is clear. Actionable claim in the form of chance to win in betting, gambling, horse racing, in this case will take 100% of the face value of the bet or the amount paid into the totalisator. So this completes our rule 31A. Now rule 32. Value in respect of certain specific supplies. So in rule 38, what is covered? Purchase or sale of foreign currency. There are two methods in this. First method is will take value equals to buying / selling rate minus RBI reference rate at that time into total units of currency. Means they have not bifurcated this one. I'm explaining you. If we purchase these, this is a case of purchase or sale of foreign currency. If it's a case of purchase of foreign currency by service supplier, then value of supply will be RBI reference rate at that time minus buying rate into total units of currency. Okay. If it's a case of sale of foreign currency by service supplier, then value of supply will be selling rate minus RBI reference rate at that time into total units of currency. Yeah. Now if no RBI reference rate, means RBI reference rate is not available, then value will be 1% of the INR received or provided. Okay. If the currencies, next scenario is if the currencies exchanged are not in INR. First one was if RBI reference rate is available, then we discussed, okay, buying selling rate minus RBI reference rate. If RBI reference rate is not available, then we'll take 1% of INR received or provided. Now third case is if currencies exchanged are not in INR, means both the currencies are not in INR, then value will be lesser of the two amounts that would have been received by converting any of the currencies into INR at RBI reference rates. Okay, I am reading this again. Lesser of the two amounts, will take compare two amounts. Which two amounts will convert? Means will convert both the currencies into INR, then will take the lesser of the two amounts. Less of the two amounts that would have been received by converting any of the currencies into INR at RBI reference rate. Clear? There has been correction in this. If currencies exchanged are not in INR, then we are supposed to take the lesser of the two amounts. Then will take the value as 1% of the lesser of the two amounts. Okay, value shall be equal to the 1% of the lesser of the two amounts. They have not mentioned 1% over here. We'll take 1% of the lesser of the two amounts. Means we'll compare both amounts. Whichever is less, we'll take that money. Means we'll take that figure as gross Indian rupees, and we'll take the 1% of gross Indian rupees, and that will be the value. Second method. Second method is up to, if the currency value is up to 1 lakh, then value will be 1% of 250, whichever is higher. If currency value is from 1 lakh 1 to 10 lakhs, means for next 9 lakhs, it will be 1000 plus 0.5%, means 0.5% of 9 lakhs. Now from 10 lakhs, means if it is more than 10 lakhs, then 5500 plus 0.1% of 10 lakhs minus, means of the figure minus 10 lakhs, means maximum figure minus 10 lakhs will take 0.1% of that figure, subject to maximum of 60,000. Okay, so this was the second method. Now booking of tickets by air travel agent, then we'll take value equals to 5% of basic fare for domestic bookings and 100% of basic fare for international bookings. Now life insurance business, if amount collected for investment is intimated, then value equals to gross premium less amount allocated for investment. Second case is, if it's a case of single premium annuity policies where amount allocated for investment is not intimated, then value equals to 10% of single premium. Okay, if amount is not intimated, then it is 10% of single premium. If amount is intimated, then gross premium less amount allocated for investment. Other cases are, in other cases, if this two cases is not there, exclusive case is not there, so in other cases value will be 25% of the premium in the first year and 12.5% of the premium in subsequent years. Next cases, if the policy is only towards risk cover, then value will be entire premium, means entire premium amount will be the value of supply. Now next case is buying and selling of second hand goods. In this case, value equals to selling price minus buying price. Ignore if the value is negative. Now if the purchase value of goods repossessed from unregistered borrower, if the goods is repossessed from unregistered borrower, then in that case purchase value of goods will be purchase price minus 5% per quarter or part thereof from the date of purchase till the date of disposal by the person making repossession. Okay, so this will be the purchase value of goods repossessed from unregistered borrower. Now coupon or voucher, in this case value equals to money value of supplies redeemable against such voucher or coupon. The supply which is redeemable against such voucher or coupon will take the money value of that supply. That will be the value of this coupon or voucher. Now notified services between distinct persons without consideration. If notified services is applied between distinct person without consideration, then value equals to nil if ITC is available. If ITC is available, then only value will be nil. Now rule 33, supply as a pure agent. Cost incurred by supplier as a pure agent of recipient shall be excluded from value. Okay, if the supplier incurs the cost as a pure agent of recipient, then that will not be included in the value. Rule 34 is rate of exchange for determination of value. For goods, we take the rate notified by CBEC under Custom Act on the date of time of supply of such goods, and for services we take the rate as per GAAP on the date of time of supply of such services. For goods CBEC rate, and for services GAAP rate as per GAAP. Now rule 35, value inclusive of taxes. Where value of supply is inclusive of CGST, SGST or UTGST or IGST, the tax amount is calculated by making back calculations. Means tax amount will be value inclusive of GST into GST rate in percentage of IGST or CGST, SGST or UTGST divided by 100 plus sum of applicable GST rates in percentage. It's simple, just back calculation is there if it's inclusive of taxes. So finally this completes our revision. Now let's move towards the questionnaire. Altogether 5 illustrations are there. First we'll do the illustrations, then we'll move towards the exercise. So hope you guys are ready. So start with illustration 1. Black and White Private Limited has provided the following particulars relating to goods sold by it to Colorful Private Limited. Okay, particulars are list price of goods exclusive of taxes and discount. List price is given 50,000 and taxes and discounts are not considered in this list price. Next one is tax levied by municipal authority on sale of such goods, 5,000. Packing charges not included in the price above is 1000. Black and White Private Limited. Black and White Private Limited is the service provider. Black and White Private Limited received 2000 as subsidy from a NGO, non-government organization, NGO, on sale of such goods. The price of 50,000 of the goods is after considering such subsidy. Black and White Limited offers 2% discount on the list price of the goods, which is recorded in the invoice for the goods. Determine the value of taxable supply made by Black and White Private Limited. Let's just analyze once this question. List price is given, tax levied by municipal authorities on sale of such goods is given, packing charges are given. So it's simple, we'll include all this. And the value now, what is given regarding subsidy? It is received from non-government organization. So obviously it will be included in supply. Now next line, what they have given, the price of 50,000 means the list price which is given is after considering such subsidy. So that list price is after considering such subsidy. So we'll have to add this, means that is deducted from the value. Considering such subsidy means that subsidy is deducted from the value, but it shouldn't be, it should be added to the value, so we'll add it. Now discount is also offered, 2% discount on list price is offered, which is recorded in the invoice for the goods. So this will also be covered, means this will also be excluded. Now look towards the question, means answer. Computation of value of taxable supply. List price of goods exclusive of taxes and discount 50,000, as it is we have copied. Now tax levied by municipal authority on sale of such goods, includable in the value as per section 15 subsection 2 clause A, 5,000, will add it. Now packing charges is also includable in value as per section 15 2C, 1000. Now subsidy received from non-government body. Since subsidy is received from a non-government body, the same is included in the value in terms of section 15 subsection 2 clause E. So we have added this. Is anything left? We have taken list price, municipal authority, taxes, then packing charges, subsidy. Now total comes to 58,000. Now discount, less discount at the rate 2% on 50,000. Since discount is known at the time of supply and recorded in supply, it is deductible from the value in terms of section 15 subsection 3 clause A. Read this line again. Black and White Limited offers 2% discount on the list price of goods, which is recorded in the invoice for the goods. Which is recorded in the invoice means it is known at the time of supply. So we are deducting this. 1000 is deducted, so value of taxable supply comes to 57,000. It's very simple. Hope it's clear. Now illustration 2. Samriddhi Advertisers conceptualized and designed the advertising campaign for a new product launched by New Moon Private Limited for a consideration of 5,000. Samriddhi Advertisers owed rupees 20,000 to one of its vendors in relation to the advertising service provided by it to New Moon Private Limited. Such liability of Samriddhi Advertisers was discharged by New Moon Private Limited. New Moon Private Limited delayed the payment of consideration and thus paid 15,000 as interest. Assume the rate of GST to be 18%. Determine the value of taxable supply made by Samriddhi Advertisers. So supplier in this case is Samriddhi Advertisers. Recipient is New Moon Private Limited. So supplier is charging 5 lakh as his consideration for advertising service, and then what is given? So recipient is paying 20,000 on behalf of supplier. So as per section 15 subsection 2, this is included in value. Now delayed payment 15,000, that is also included in value as per section 15 subsection 2. Now see the answer. Computation of value of taxable supply. Service charges is 5 lakh. Now payment made by New Moon Private Limited, that is recipient, to vendor of Samriddhi Advertisers, means liability of supplier being discharged by recipient, is includable in the value in terms of section 15 subsection 2 clause B, that is 20,000. Next is interest for delay in payment of consideration, that is also includable in value in terms of section 15 subsection 2 clause D. One note is given here, we will refer that note. So value is 12,712. So Why we have taken 12712, that we'll see just now. Now value of taxable supply is 532712. Now read the note below. The interest for delay in payment of consideration will be includable in the value of supply, but the time of supply of such interest will be the date when such interest is received in terms of section 13 subsection 6. Such interest has been assumed to be inclusive of GST, and thus the value has been computed by making back calculation, that is interest by 100 plus tax rate into 100. If you guys remember time of supply, then in that case the time of supply of interest, this late charges, in that case time of supply was the time when this late charges are received. So they are assuming this as inclusive of taxes. So what was the amount of late charges? It was 15,000. So 15,000 divided by 118, they have not done the calculation here. You can just calculate and see. 15,000 divided by 118 into 100, will see. 15,000 divided by 118 into 100. So that comes to 12,712. So that will be included in your value. So the value of taxable supply will come to 532712. Okay. So this completes our illustration 2. Now illustration 3. Mr. X, a money changer, has exchanged $10,000 to Indian rupees at 64 per US dollar. Mr. X wants to value the supply in accordance with Rule 32 subsection 2 clause B of CGST rules. Okay. 32(2)(b). Okay, 32(2)(a) is not there, B is there, so means we have to apply that slab rate up to 1 lakh, that one. So determine the value of supply made by Mr. X. See the answer. As per Rule 32 subsection 2 clause B of CGST rules, the value in relation to the supply of foreign currency, including money changing, is deemed to be 1% of the gross amount of currency exchanged for an amount up to 1 lakh, subject to a minimum amount of 250, 1000 and 0.5% of the gross amount of currency exchanged for an amount exceeding 1 lakh and up to 10 lakh. Therefore, the value of supply made by Mr. X under Rule 32 subsection 2 clause B of CGST rule is computed as under. See, value was 10,000 into 64, that comes to 6,40,000. So value of currency exchange in Indian rupees, 64 into 10,000, that is 6,40,000. So up to 1,01,000. So remaining is 5,40,000. So in next slab we have to take 0.5% of 5,40,000. So 0.5% of 5,40,000 is 2,700. Okay, so value of supply comes to 3,700. Okay, this was very simple. So this completes our illustration 3. Now illustration 4. Mr. U is an air travel agent. Compute the value of supply made by him during a month with the help of following particulars furnished by him. Now this is also very simple. Particulars, domestic bookings, then basic fare is given, other charges and fee, taxes, total value of tickets. Then international booking, same, basic fare, other charges, taxes, total value of tickets are given. Now we just know one thing: in case of domestic bookings 5% of basic fare, in case of international bookings 10% of basic fare. There is no use of other columns, these last 3 columns they have just given us to confuse. Okay, now computation of value of supply of service made by Mr. U in a month. So basic fare in case of domestic bookings is basic fare is 1,900,000. Value of supply at the rate 5%. So 5% of 1,900,000, calculate. So it comes to 5045. Now basic fare in case of international bookings is 3,16,880. So 10%, value of supply at the rate 10%, that comes to 31688. So value of supply is A plus B, that is 5045 plus 31688, that comes to 36733. Now what they have given in note: as per Rule 32 subsection 3 of CGST rules, value of supply of services in relation to booking of tickets for travel by air provided by an air travel agent is 5% of basic fare in case of domestic bookings and 10% of basic fare in case of international bookings. Simple. So this was illustration 4. Now see next one. They have written illustration 4 only instead of 5. So remember this, it's not illustration 4, it's illustration 5. Now let's do this. Arihant Life Insurance Company Limited, ALICL, has charged gross premium of 180 lakhs from policy holders with respect to life insurance policies in the year 2017-18, out of which 100 lakh have been allocated for investment on behalf of policy holders. Now they have given, compute the value of supply of life insurance services provided by ALICL if the amount allocated for investment has been intimated by ALICL to policy holders at the time of supply of service. Remember, if the amount was intimated, then the value was gross premium less the amount allocated for investment. Second part is given. Second question is, if the amount allocated for investment has not been intimated to policy holders at the time of providing the service, then 10% of single premium was there. If gross amount charged by ALICL from policy holder is only towards risk cover, then entire premium. Now note, they have given ALICL has started its operation in the year 1718, thus the entire gross premium 180 lakh is the premium for the first year of all the policies. Okay, 1718 is the year of operation, it's the first year of operation. First year, ALICL has not issued any single premium annuity policy. Now see the answer. As per Rule 32 subsection 4 of CGST rules, value of supply of services in relation to life insurance business is gross premium reduced by the amount allocated for investment on behalf of policy holder if such an amount is intimated to the policy holder at the time of supply of service. Gross premium less amount allocated for investment if amount is intimated. Now in all other cases, 25% of the premium in the first year and 12.5% of the premium in the subsequent year. However, where the entire premium paid by policyholder is only towards risk cover, such gross premium is the value of supply of life insurance services. So they have discussed the provisions. So in the light of aforesaid provisions, value of supply of life insurance services provided by ALICL in financial year 17-18 will be computed as follows. Now answer to Roman 1. Amount allocated for investment is intimated to policy holder at the time of supply of service, then value of service will be gross premium less amount allocated for investment. Gross premium is 180 lakhs and the amount allocated for investment is 100 lakhs. As you can see, 180 minus 100 lakhs is 80 lakhs. That is our value of service. Now part 2 is amount allocated for investment is not intimated to the policy holder at the time of supply of service. So if it was the case of single premium annuity policy, then we would have taken 10% of single premium, but it's clearly mentioned over here. See the last line, ALICL has not issued any single premium annuity policy, so we can't take 10% of single premium. In this case, we have to apply the other cases value in as per value in other cases. We have to apply that value, means we have to take 25%. Remember, 25% first year and 12.5% in subsequent years. So in this case, I am reading this again. Amount allocated for investment is not intimated to the policy holders at the time of supply of service, then value of service will be 25% of 180 lakhs, that is 45 lakhs. Now gross premium received is only towards risk cover, then in this case value of service equals to gross premium, that is gross premium is 180 lakhs, so value of service is equals to 180 lakhs. Okay. So this completes our illustrations. 5 illustrations were there. Now move towards the exercise, test your knowledge. First one is, AKG Foods Private Limited gets an order for supply of processed food from a customer. The customer wants the consignment tested for gluten or specified chemical residues. AKG Foods Private Limited does the testing and charges a testing fee for the same from the customer. Okay. AKG Foods Private Limited argues that such testing fees should not form part of the consideration for the sale as it is a separate activity. Is this argument correct in the light of section 15? It's not correct. It will be added. Let's see the answer. Section 15 subsection 2 mandates the addition of certain elements to transaction value to arrive at taxable value. Clause C of section 15 subsection 2 specifies that amount charged for anything done by supplier in respect of supply at the time of or before delivery of goods or supply of services shall be included in the taxable value. Since AKG Foods Private Limited does the testing before the delivery of goods, the charges therefore will be included in the taxable value. Therefore, AKG Foods Private Limited's argument is not correct. The testing fee should be added to the price to arrive at taxable value of the consignment. Simple. Now, question number 2. A philanthropic association makes a substantial donation each year to a reputed private management institution to subsidize the education of low income group students who have gained admission there. The fees for this individuals is reduced thereby coming to 3 lakhs a year compared to 5 lakhs a year for other students. Okay. What would be the taxable value of service of coaching and instruction provided by the institution? So let's see the answer. 3 lakh is for the low income group students and 5 lakh is for the fees for other students. So what is the taxable value of service of coaching? Question number 2. See answer 2. As per section 15 subsection 2 clause E, the value of supply includes subsidies directly linked to the price, excluding state government and central government subsidies. In this case, subsidy is not from the government but it is from a philanthropic association. Therefore, the subsidy is to be added back to the price to arrive at the taxable value, which comes to 5 lakhs a year. Okay, 3 lakh was the value of service provided to low income group students, and subsidy will also be included as it is not from the central government or state government. Now, next one is Mezza Banners, an advertising firm, gives an interest free credit period of 30 days for payment by customer. Its customer ABC paid for the supply 32 days after the supply of service. To avail the interest free credit period, it was supposed to pay within 30 days but it paid after 30 days. Mezza Banners waived the interest payable for delay of 2 days. The department wants to add interest for 2 days as per the contract. Should notional interest be added to the taxable value? Say. See the answer. It's not to be added. See, this is a supply that is valued as per transaction value under section 15 subsection 1, as the price is the sole consideration for the supply and the supply is made to unrelated person. The concept of transaction value has been expanded to include elements like interest which are actually payable. Once waived, the interest is not payable and therefore not to be added to the TV. Though interest is added to this, late charges all are added to the TV, but once it is waived off, that means it is not payable, and if it is not payable, then it will not be added to TV. Next one. Question number 4. Crunch Bakery Products Limited sell biscuits and cakes through its dealers to whom it charges the list price minus standard discount and pays GST accordingly. When goods remain unsold with the dealers, it offered additional discount on the stock as an incentive to push the sales. Can this additional discount be reduced from the price at which the goods were sold and concomitant tax adjustments made? So, we have read that the discount will be deducted only if it is known at the time of supply. At the time means before or at the time of supply. So they are offering additional discount on stock to push the sales. So let's see the answer whether it will be deducted or not. The discount were not known or agreed for at the time of supply of goods to the dealers. Therefore, in terms of section 15 subsection 3, such discount cannot be reduced from the price on which tax had been paid. Discount will not be reduced. Question number 4. Okay, it was given here additional discount on the stock as an incentive to push the sale. It was not known. It was dependent on the future sales. It was not known at the time of supply or before supply. So it will not be deducted. Now Rajesh and Company provides financial and management consultancy to a group of companies for an annual retainership fee of 15 lakh. It is given a room in the head office of the group for its exclusive use. Rajesh and Company pays GST on the amount of 15 lakhs. Is the value for the service provided by Rajesh and Company correct under GST laws? If not, please elaborate. Now, what is given in this question? Rajesh and Company is providing financial management consultancy services and they are charging 15 lakhs. They've got a special room, it's a room in the head office, and Rajesh and Company pays GST on 15 lakhs. So, is the value for service provided Rajesh and Company is correct or not? See the answer. Rajesh and Company gets an office room free of cost, which is an additional non-monetary consideration for its services. Correct. So the market value of the rent of room must be added to the retainer fee, 15 lakh, in order to arrive at the value of taxable service provided by Rajesh and Company as per Rule 27 of the CGST rules. This is a case of Rule 27, monetary plus non-monetary consideration, means consideration is not wholly in money. Rajesh, in return, Rajesh is getting 15 lakh for his service, plus he is getting a room in head office. So non-monetary consideration is also involved in this. So we have to apply Rule 37. So he is supposed to pay tax on 15 lakh plus the market value of the rent of the room. He is supposed to pay tax on that amount, not on 15 lakhs. Clear? Next question. Question number 6. The supplies of commodity Y to the market are channeled through a state marketing corporation which conducts an auction each day to arrive at the price. Gupta and Company supplies commodity Y through the state marketing corporation. How will this supply of Y by Gupta and Company be valued for paying tax? So what is happening in this question? How will the supply of Y by Gupta and Company? Gupta and Company is the supplier. It supplies commodity Y through state marketing corporation. Now how will this supply be valued for paying taxes, they are saying. So the state marketing corporation is an agent in the meaning of expression as defined in section 2 subsection 5, which includes an auctioneer. Therefore the value of supply of Y will be determined in terms of Rule 29 of CGST rules relating to valuation. Gupta and Company is supplying through agent, so Rule 29 will be applied. Now what we studied in Rule 29, that we have to take open market value, or we have to take 90% of the price charged by recipient to unrelated customer of price of like, kind and quality. If that is not possible, then we are supposed to apply Rule 30 or 31. See what is given here. There is no open market value for the first supply of commodity Y, as it is compulsorily supplied to state marketing corporation. So obviously there is no open market value. However, Gupta and Company has the option of valuing the supply of Y at 90% of the price of goods of like, kind and quality sold by state marketing corporation to its unrelated customers. Okay, if the value cannot be determined by this method, it needs to be determined on the basis of cost plus 10% markup as per Rule 30, or on the basis of best judgment assessment as per Rule 31, in that order. As the details are not available, the figures are not given, so they have just discussed the provision and just entered the answer. You will also do in this way. Now see question number 7. Easy Coupons Limited sell coupons that are redeemable against specified luxury food products at retail outlets. Each coupon has a face value of 900 but is redeemable for supplies worth 1000. What is the value of supply of such coupon under GST laws? So as we have revised that in case of coupon, value of coupon will be the value of supply that is redeemable against such coupon. See the answer to question number 7. In terms of Rule 32 subsection 6 of CGST rules relating to valuation, the value of a coupon is the money value of the goods redeemable against it. Therefore, though the coupon is sold for 900, its value is rupees 1000. Okay, value will be 1000, not 900. Now last question. A pharmaceutical company supplies a drug intermediate to its own unit in another state for conversion into formulations. The product is exclusive to this company and there is no market sale in India of this drug intermediate. Goods of like kind and quality are also not available. How will the value of the supply of this drug intermediate be determined under GST laws? Okay, TV is not possible because supply and recipient are not unrelated, they are related, and it is supply between distinct persons. So rule 28, see the answer. Since the supply is made to a distinct person, the same will be valued in accordance with rule 28 of CGST rules relating to valuation. There is no open market value of the drug intermediate. Just recall once rule 28, open market value, then value of supplies of like kind and quality. Then if that is not possible, then rule 30 or 31. If it is supplied as such by recipient to unrelated, then supplier can take 90% of that value. Then if recipient is eligible for ITC, then invoice value will be the TV, means invoice value will be the value of supply. So first we are supposed to take whether there is open market value or not. See what is given here. There is no open market value of the drug intermediate, as also there are no like goods. So both points are not, since we can't take both points, that is exhausted. Open market value is not possible, like kind and quality is not possible. Therefore the value of supply of such drug intermediate will be determined in terms of clause C of rule 28, that is by using rule 30. So 30 is the option. And those two exclusive cases, like when ITC is when a recipient is eligible for ITC, and when it is the case of further supply, that is also not possible. So obviously we'll apply rule 30. Thus the value of such drug intermediate will be 110% of its cost of production or manufacture. However, if the recipient unit is eligible for full ITC, the value declared in the invoice will be deemed to be the open market value of the drug intermediate, and thus the invoice value will be the value of taxable supply. If this case happens, that's why they have mentioned here, if the recipient unit is eligible for full ITC, then the value declared in the invoice will be deemed to be the open market value of drug intermediate, and thus invoice value will be the value of taxable supply. So this completes our exercises. This test your knowledge. So this completes our revision cum questionnaire of value of supply. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Please do like, share and subscribe, and please do press the bell icon for latest updates, because I am working on my next video. You'll get to see that video very soon, so you need to press the bell icon for latest updates. And yeah, one important announcement: if anyone willing to solve DT illustrations and exercises as well of ICI study material, then you can visit the link given in the description. You can subscribe that channel also. That channel is also amazing. You'll get all the latest illustrations and exercises for your November 20 exams. And do study hard. Keep yourself motivated all the time. I know it's not easy, especially in this period. It's very challenging. It's challenging for almost all CA final students. So take it as a challenge and prove yourself. It's challenging for all students, not just CA final students. It's challenging for all students who are preparing for the exam. So take it as a challenge and prove yourself. Self motivation is the key. You won't be successful without it. So always believe in yourself and you will be unstoppable. Stay happy, stay healthy, be a real human being, and spread lots and lots of love. Bye bye, take care.